Mazda SUVs are some of the most popular vehicles in the country. In fact, nearly 1 in 5 small SUVs sold in the country wears a Mazda badge. The brand offers 2 products in Australia, the more compact CX-30 and the larger CX-30 that we have here today. And on top of that, this particular car is a new for 2022 Touring SP version that introduces new and exclusive features. In this video, we're going to take you through the whole car, the first row, the second row, the boot, how it drives, to see what it's like. So let's go. The 2022 Mazda CX-30 Touring SP model comes in 3 flavours: front-wheel drive with either a 2-litre or 2.5-litre engine, and all-wheel drive with a 2.5-litre engine like our test car. Starting with the cheapest car, which is the front-wheel drive 2-litre version, it starts from $37,790 before on-roads, or around $42,000 drive away. If you want the box and dice like our test car, all-wheel drive with a 2.5, it'll set you back about $46,000 to $47,000 on the road, depending on the colour you pick and which state you register it in. Powering our Mazda CX-30 Touring SP is the larger 2.5-litre engine with on-demand all-wheel drive system. Despite being the largest motor on offer, it's still naturally aspirated and not turbocharged like its competitors. This engine produces 139 kilowatts of power, 252 Nm of torque, sips 91 RON fuel, and is claimed to use under 7 litres per 100 for every 100 kilometres you travel on the combined cycle. Already a good looking thing with its swooping coupe roofline and sharp detailing, the Mazda CX-30 Touring SP takes things up another notch. How? With a set of exclusive black 18-inch wheels and these black mirror caps adding a sporting touch. In terms of its overall dimensions, it's more aligned to a Subaru XV or a Kia Seltos as one of the larger vehicles in its class. Compared to the Volkswagen T-Roc, which is a Golf on stilts, the CX-30 is a little bit longer. Inside, the Mazda CX-30 may not be the most high-tech with the biggest screens and all of that, but it is one of the most high quality. This dashboard is beautifully simple, it's clad in vinyl with this artful red stitching, it looks great, and I think the interior is simple and appeals to the traditionalist. Why? The air conditioning controls still have buttons, big plus. I love looking at a digital display that's flanked by 2 analog dials, and even the head-up display works with polarized sunnies. How good! Infotainment is handled by Mazda's new Connect system, which includes a very familiar rotary dial controller, similar to what the brand has used for over a decade now. It's easy to use, but most importantly, the remote located interaction point means it's easy to keep your eyes focused on the road ahead when interacting with the vehicle's infotainment system. It has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and digital radio, and overall you don't feel shortchanged for your money. Exclusive to this SP variant are these burgundy leather seats. Now they are a bit flat, but they are really comfortable, and most importantly, this driver's seat has lumbar support and 2-position memory, meaning you and your partner can share the drive. One thing that could be improved with the Mazda CX-30's cabin is its storage availability. These bottle holders in the doors are a little bit shallow, this pocket up front is a little bit useless, and I think putting a large drink in here may be a challenge. But luckily the armrest is big, slidable, and has USB power points to charge your devices. Considering the quality of the cabin, the ambience and the technology, I don't feel shortchanged considering it costs about $45,000 in this trim. Overall, it's pretty obvious to see what the biggest problem is with the Mazda CX-30 in the second row. It's space. My knees are up against this seat back, they're quite squashed. However, I do have a fair amount of footroom and a fair amount of headroom too. If you've got young teenagers, I reckon they'll fit in fine, but if you're moving adults frequently, I'd recommend maybe going to the CX-5 personally. In terms of amenities, there's no USB ports here, which is a big cross for me, but there is air vents, bottle holders, and a pair of cup holders for good measure. Now, despite being squashed, I am still pretty comfortable in this seat. The base is nice and deep, meaning my thighs have support, and the seat back is wide enough to support my shoulders. The visibility out of the cabin is great too, so if your kids suffer from motion sickness, they'll be pretty okay in this car. We thought you'd show you this as it's a great example of how compact some small SUVs can be. You go to fold the seat, that's my seating position, and it's impossible to do. Now I'm picking on the Mazda CX-30 unfairly here, as this happens in a lot of cars, but it's a great way to show you the overall dimensions of the second row. No electric tailgate on this one, but there is 317 litres of boot space. I did happen to fit a compact stroller and a week's worth of groceries in here, and there is a 60-40 split, so you can extend the space if you need more room. Thankfully also, Mazda has included a space-saving wheel and not a repair kit in this car, which is a thumbs up from me. The first thing you notice getting behind the wheel of a Mazda CX-30 is how inviting it is to drive. The steering is great, transparent and honest, and the brake pedal is immediate and trustworthy, meaning you feel comfortable right away. This car is offered in myriad versions: a 2-litre front-wheel drive, a 2.5 front-wheel drive, and a 2.5 all-wheel drive, what we're in today. If you put your foot down, the naturally aspirated engine revs nicely and cleanly, but it does lack the torque of those turbocharged competitors. Cars like the Kia Seltos and the Volkswagen T-Roc have more low-end torque with their turbo engines. What that means is, if you load the car up with a family on a holiday, the CX-30 may be a little bit sluggish compared to those. But when you're by yourself or on a school run, it's beyond adequate. This car also has a 6-speed torque converter transmission, which in my eyes means it's much smoother than the dual clutch. It's fuss-free, it operates great, it doesn't lurch, and it's quiet, which is just what you want in a family SUV. Something else about this car that I'm unsure on is the ride quality. It is a little bit firm for my liking, and I know Mazda does make a sporty car that's engaging to drive, but this is a family SUV, and others in the class are a bit better. And I have a sneaking suspicion too that those large 18-inch wheels are making this car a little bit more bumpy than it should be. Another area the CX-30 could improve on in terms of the drive is NVH. Now Mazda has always struggled with noise ingress in their cars for about the past decade, and they've got heaps better now. This car is about 9/10 of the way there. It's not the best in class, but it's still a little bit noisy for my liking, so some areas to improve on. But overall, I love the way it drives, and I love the way it feels. And for the money, maybe a bit expensive in all-wheel drive guys, but the 2-litre or the 2.5 front-wheel drive may be the right choice. I mentioned before that this cabin will appeal to the traditionalist, and I'll show you what I mean. You're able to put your hand down here, keep your eyes on the road, look across and activate the infotainment system without leaning over and jeopardising your driving. Another thing too is that the air conditioning buttons are tactile, meaning you can touch them. Like an old phone, it's familiar, you know where everything is, you're not second guessing, and you're keeping your eyes on the road, which is the most important thing. The Mazda CX-30 Touring SP model does a great job of garnishing the entry-level car and making it more desirable both inside and out. At around 41 grand drive away for the 2-litre front-wheel drive car, it feels like great buying, but at nearly 47k for the 2.5 all-wheel drive, it does feel a little bit expensive. But me personally, I love the way it looks and I love the way it drives. So if you're interested in a Japanese take on what the Germans do so well, I reckon you start your car buying journey right here. If you like the Mazda CX-3, like this video, or are interested in more cars like this, make sure you subscribe to our channel. If the CX-30 is too small for you and you're interested in the larger Mazda CX-5, make sure you watch the video above.